Hello everyone, my name is Satyam and I am a third year student at Indian Institute of Information Technology, Sri City. And I welcome you all to this session of previous year questions of physics. In this session, I will be discussing about the chapter work, energy and power. Okay. So before starting this chapter, I would just like to tell some important things about it. Please understand that work, energy, power, this chapter is really very important and it is one of your fundamental chapters. Okay, fundamental chapters. Okay, because some of the theorems and concepts in this chapter are used in entire mechanics as well as electrodynamics and all over your physics. Okay, all over your 11th, 12th physics, whatever you will study. Okay, some of you who are already aware of this chapter, I hope you know about some of the terms like kinetic energy and work energy theorem and everything, right? So we understand that work energy theorem is used everywhere. Okay, like if you don't understand anything, sometimes you just try to put work energy theorem in your equations and you get a pretty much good answer about the concept, right? So now I will be discussing about this previous year questions. Make sure you have a domain knowledge already about this chapter. Okay, the ones who don't have much, we will be covering that through your previous year questions. All right, we'll be covering that to your previous year questions. Fine. So please make a note of this chapter. It is very important. Okay, give yourself time and practice the questions thoroughly. Whatever I'm going to discuss, okay, just try to process them very well. Okay, if you don't understand the video, okay, you can just rewind it back and again just watch the video. I hope you will be able to understand the chapter, as we even provide you the solutions right after the question, so it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, yeah. So let's move to the next question. Yeah, now consider a drop of rainwater having mass 1 gram falling from a height of 1 kilometer. Okay, now what is this question saying? Now see, this question had come in year 2017. Okay, 2017 JEE mains. Consider a drop of rainwater. Okay, now the rainwater is having a mass of 1 gram. It's falling from a height of 1 kilometer. Okay, it hits the ground with speed of 50 meter per second. Take G as gravitational constant. Okay. So G is small g, not capital G. Okay, this should be small g. Okay, small g constant with value as 10 meter per second square. Okay, you know the value of G, right? G is usually 9.8 meter per second square, right? We sometimes take 10 to make the calculations easy, right? 9.8 actually gives us an accurate answer, but this gives us an approximate answer. Fine. The work done by the gravitational force and the resistive force of the air. Okay, now what they are telling over here, work done by the gravitational force and the resistive force. Now we know that whatever the process is happening, okay, during sum of all sum of all. Okay, just a second. Like, let's go to the, I'll explain you the solution here itself. See, now there's something called as work energy theorem, right? I hope you all know what is work energy theorem. It says that sum of all work done, okay, it is equals to the change in kinetic energy. Okay, whatever the work done is done in my process, okay, whatever the work done is done in my process, that will be equal to the change in kinetic energy of that object. Okay, now in this situation, what are all the possible forces that are going to come up on my object? Okay, the first force is a gravitational force, correct? Gravitational force, they have already mentioned in the question, but just think, like, this is an object, okay, like this is a ground, okay, this is the height of 1 kilometer, and a raindrop is basically falling. So what and all the forces are acting on it? One is gravitational force downward and one is air resistance, right? So work done by gravitational force plus work done by air resistance will be equal to the change in kinetic energy. I hope you understand this equation, right? So that is what written over here. Okay, now what is work done by gravitational force? Mgh. Okay, downside it's mgh. So mgh plus wa is equals to half mb square minus u. Okay, why u? Because when you're going down, okay, नीचे की तरफ तो zero है, right? Initially if it is coming from this point, then v2 minus v1 whole square, right? So v1 is basically over here 0. That's why I'm writing it here 0. Okay, I hope this is clear. Fine. So mgh, so m, that is 10 to the power minus 3, right? G, h is height. Okay, everything is in standard terms, and this is WA, this is equals to change in kinetic energy, right? From here, the resistance, the air resistance, WA, work done by air resistance is minus 8.75 joules, which is the work done due to the air resistance. Fine. Now, what is the work done due to the gravity? 10 joules. That is calculated already over here, right? MGH. They just asked you that. Okay, just look at the question over here. What they have told is the work done by the gravitational force as well as the resistive force. Okay, so what you have to do is work done by G plus work done by A is equals to change in kinetic energy, right? Correct. So work done by G is mgh. You'll calculate mgh because you have mass of the object, you have G value, and you even have the height, right? Mass of the object is 1 gram, that is 10 to the power minus 3 kg. Okay, G is 10 and height is 1 kilometer, that is 10 cube. Okay, meters. So this is mgh, that is wg. Correct. This and this will get cancelled. So work done by gravity is 10, right? Now similarly, now you have this. Now this value work done by gravity is 10. So 10 plus WA is change in kinetic energy. Okay. Just a second. Yeah. Fine. Now, a particle of mass. Let's go to the next question. A particle of mass m1 is moving with a velocity v1. Okay. Okay. Let's say a particle of mass m1. Right. This is m1. It is moving with. Just a second. Yeah. A particle of mass. This is m1. It is moving with velocity v1. Right. And another particle of mass m2 is moving with v2. Fine. Is moving with m2 is moving with v2. All right. Both of them have the same momentum, but their different kinetic energies are E1 and E2 respectively. If M1 is greater than M2, then what is this? Okay. So what you have to do is, now look at it. We know that E is equals to P square by 2M, right? Energy ka formula in terms of momentum over here is P square by 2M, correct? So we have two particles. Now, two particles. So I will have E1 and E2, right? I will have E1 and E2. What will be E1? E1 will be P1 square by 2M1, correct? What will be E2? E2 will be equal to P2 square by 2M2, correct? This is what written over here. Fine. Okay. Now go to the next step. What is the next step saying over here? I'm bringing basically M1 here and I'm bringing E1 downside again. Okay. So what I'm getting from here after this equation, that is M1 is equals to P1 square divided by 2E1. Okay. And M2 is equals to P2 square divided by 2E2. I hope this step is clear to everyone, right? This is what written over here. Now, M1 is greater than M2. Okay. They are saying that M1 is greater than M2. Isko niche lao, come bring this down. So M1 by M2 will be greater than 1, correct? I hope it is understandable until here, right? Now what you have to do is replace the value of this M1 from here. Okay. And this M2 over here. That's all. Fine. So what I'm getting is what I told you, that if M1 is, okay, just a second. Yeah. So if M1 is greater than M2, which means M1 by M2 is greater than 1. This means P1 square E2 divided by E1 into P2 square. This is greater than 1. Now this will be get cancelled. Okay. As P1 is equals to P2. Why P1 is equals to P2? That is mentioned in the question, right? So E2 by E1 is greater than 1. This says that E2 is greater than E1. All right. I hope this is clear until here. Fine. E2 is greater than E1. That is what we have got over here. Now, you know what is the formula of kinetic energy, right? This is what written over here. You'll have to calculate kinetic energy for both the particles, basically. All right. This is what mentioned over here. So half mv square, okay, half mv square. So what I have done is I have multiplied numerator and denominator with m. So half m square v square, right? See, what I have done over here is, here kinetic energy formula is given half mv square. So what I'm doing is I'm multiplying m with numerator and denominator. What will I get after doing that? I'll get m square v square on the numerator. What is m square v square? It is p square. That's why half p square by m, as p is equals to mv, right? Half p square by m. Now what is p square by m? What is p by m? That is ke, right? So p square is equals to 2 mke. So momentum over here is 2 under root of 2 mke. This is just basically a derivation of a formula which you study. Okay, understand? Fine. Let's move to the next question. Okay, just a second. Yeah. Okay. Two similar springs P and Q have spring constants Kp and Kq such that Kp is greater than Kq. Okay. I have two springs, two similar springs. Okay. Just a second. Yeah. So I have springs, right? This is one spring and this is another spring. Okay. Spring constants Kp and this is Kq. And this is spring P and this is spring Q. This is what they are saying. And they are saying that Kp is greater than Kq. Chalo, very good. They are stretched first by the same amount. Okay. Okay. First, I have stretched both the springs by same amount. That is case A. Okay. Case A. This is what given in the question. Then by the same force. Okay. First, see what is the amount. Amount. See, understand both the cases. Okay. In case one, what they are saying is case A, they are saying is same amount. Okay. And case B, what they are saying? Case B, they are saying is same force. Okay. What is the difference between these two? Let's say that I am stretching this spring till a distance A. Okay. Then this spring also is stretched by a distance A. This is what case one tells. Okay. Case one is basically saying this. Okay. Now over here, my force can be anything. Okay. My force can be anything. If I'm elaborating the string to a distance A, if I'm stretching it to a distance A, that can be with any force. I can stretch it slowly, either I can stretch it very hard. Okay, so force over here is variable. Okay, in case A, and in case B, with same force. They have not mentioned in any length. Okay, with same force. Fine. So in case A, what is work done by a spring? Half kx square. Half kx square, right? Work done by a spring, right? Half kx square. Okay. Fine. Half kx square. Okay. So Wp by Wq is half kpx square divided by half kqx square. All right. Same distance है ना, तो same distance उसको मान लो x. So that is x square. So kp by kq. Now they are saying that kp is greater than kq, which means that Wp is greater than Wq. This was very simple. Now force is kx, right? So kp xp is equals to kq xq. Fine. This is what we have done over here also. And with this, wq is greater than wp. All right. So these are case A and case B. I hope everything is clear until this part. Fine. Chalo. Okay. Next question is, a force F is equals to 20 plus 10y acts on a particle y in a y direction where F is in Newton and y is in meter. What is the work done on its force from 0 to m? Very easy question. Work done is integral, right? So work done is, what is the formula, guys? Work done by any particle is integral f dx. Okay, let's say it's in x direction. Okay, any direction. That is from point xi to point xf, initial point to final point. This is a work done by a force. Okay, the force की equation दे रखी है. This is it. You have equation, and from where to where you have to go, from y equal to 0 to y equal to 1. Integration is simple. What is the integration of y? Integration is of y is y square by 2 plus c, right? C को ignore कर दो, as you have definite integrals. Okay, ignore c. Okay, this was a very easy question. Fine. Let's move to the next question. Okay. A person holding a rifle, mass of person and rifle together is 100 grams, 100 kgs. Okay. A person is holding a rifle. Okay. Understand? He is holding a rifle, mass of the person, and okay. So, mass of rifle as well as the person is 100 kg. Standing on a smooth surface and fires 10 shots horizontally in 5 seconds. Okay. Each bullet has a mass of 10 gram with a muzzle velocity of 800 meter per second. The final velocity acquired by the person and the average force exerted on the person are. Okay. So, momentum conserve hoga, right? How the momentum will be conserved? How the momentum will be conserved? See, if this is the person, okay, let's say he has this rifle. Okay, he has this rifle. If he shoots forward, okay, the amount which he's shooting further is the same amount he will come back, right? Like even if you shoot, your shoulder is going to get back, correct? So this is where forward and backward is equal, right? And that is where momentum is conserved, correct? So mv is equals to m into n into v. This is what they have explained over here. Okay. Once you have applied conservation of linear momentum, okay, once you have applied conservation of linear momentum, after this you are going to apply work energy theorem. Okay. So over here, I'm going to check average work done. So average work done will be FAV into SAV. That is half M VM S square. Okay. Okay. See, understand in this chapter, if you are able to apply, first thing is linear momentum conservation, that is linear momentum conservation. Okay. First is linear momentum conservation and second is work energy theorem. If you're able to apply these two things, you're through in this chapter. Okay, it will be very easy for you. Fine. Next. A particle with total energy E is moving in a potential region U of X. The motion of the particle is restricted to which region? See, as a particle is moving in the potential region, then the kinetic energy is zero. We know that if kinetic energy increases, then potential energy decreases, correct? Now, if a particle is just moving in a potential energy direction, that means kinetic energy is greater than zero. Okay, fine. And total energy, that is kinetic energy plus potential energy, right? Total energy should be kinetic energy plus potential energy, right? So kinetic energy is, if it is greater than zero, if this quantity is greater than zero, and entire sum should be E, then the potential energy should be less than main energy, right? Correct? Okay. Now, this question had come in 2011 JEE Mains. The potential energy of a system increases if the work done is option D, that is upon a system is conservative force. Okay. When a work done upon a system is conservative force, then its potential energy increases. Okay. Simple theoretical question. Now, an engine pump. Okay. An engine pumps water continuously through a hose. Fine. Water leaves the hose with a velocity v. Okay. If you don't understand what's the meaning of hose, engine pump. Okay. The ending of the pump. Okay. This is basically called a hose. This is where your water is spilling from. And this is the entire engine. Let's say this is your entire engine. This is where the water is leaving out. So this is the hose. Water is coming out of this. Okay. It's coming out with a velocity v. Fine. Understood? And mass m is the mass per unit length of the water jet. Okay. What is the rate at which kinetic energy is imparted to the water? Same, half mv square. Okay, half mv square. But the difference over here is that mass flowing per second. Okay, entire mass is m. What is mass flowing per second? M into v. Simple formula, right? So half mass flowing per second into v square as the velocity is v. That is half mv cube. All right. So option D is my answer. Okay. I hope everything is clear until here. Now, moving to the ninth question. A body of mass 1 kg is thrown upward. Okay. So this is one body. Let's say I'm considering it as a ball or something. It is thrown upward. Okay. It's 1 kg with a velocity of 20 meter per second. Okay. It momentarily comes to rest after attaining a height 18 meters. So basically, this is my ball. It's 1 kg. Okay. It goes and stops until here at a height of 18 meters. And it is thrown with a velocity of 20 meter per second. How much energy is lost due to air friction? So this is the answer. When a body is thrown upwards, kinetic energy is converted into potential energy. Everyone knows that. So what is the loss of energy due to age friction? That is half mv square minus mgh. Why am I doing this? Understand one thing. If this is my ground, everybody knows that as I move up, kinetic energy decreases, correct? And potential energy increases, right? So initially I had some kinetic energy, right? I am basically, I have to subtract some mgh, right? From potential energy. As it is converting into potential energy, I have to see what amount of kinetic energy is left, right? So half mv square minus mgh, that is half into 1 into 400. Fine. Why it is 400? Because v is equals to 220, right? So v square will be 400, correct? Minus m, you know m, that is 1, g is 18, and h is 10. So 200 minus 18, that is 20 joules. All right, 20 joules. Fine. All right. Now, this is basically a diagram. And okay. So now there's an object of mass 500 grams instantly at rest. Okay. Is acted upon by a variable force whose x component with x is okay. So it is a variable force, and force is measured in the x direction, okay, with x component. Fine. This is the graph. The velocity of the objects at the points x equal to 8 and x equal to 12. So I have to find velocity at x equal to 8 and x equal to 12. All right. Nothing. Change in kinetic energy is equals to total work done. That is area under the curve. I have to basically find. So at the end, I have to find change in kinetic energy, right? So change in kinetic energy is what? Work done, total work done, right? Total work done is change in kinetic energy. What is total work done? This is F, this is X. What is integral F? What is integral F dot X? That is work done, right? So I have to in short calculate the area under this graph. From where to where? From where to where? From 0 to 8 and 0 to 12. All right. So 0 to 8 it comes out to be 23 meter per second. And if you calculate for 0 to 12, that is 20.6 meter per second square. Okay. Just equate the equation of, see, so basically change in kinetic energy will be equal to half mv square, right? Half mv square. So half mv square will be equal to integral of f in dot x. Okay, integral of f dot x from 0 to 8, and half mv square will be equal to integral of 0 to 12 f dot x basically. Now I have already a curve, so I just need to add these values. In squares को add कर देना, okay? This thing. All right. I hope everything is clear. See, if this is negative, then you have to just subtract it, right? I hope that's clear. That should be clear for everyone. Okay. Now, let's go to the next question. Just a second. All right. A ball of mass 2 kg and another of mass 4 kg are dropped together. Okay, from a 16. Now, this is my ground. Okay, this is my building, and this building height is 60 feet, correct? After a fall of 30 feet. Okay, so I have my two balls. One ball is here, that is 2 kg. Fine. Another ball of mass 4 kg. Okay. Now they are saying that what will be the kinetic energy of these two balls when I have reached 30 feet. मतलब जब ये बीच में आ जाएंगे over here. Simple. Since the kinetic energy of both the balls and velocity on reaching the ground will be same. Kinetic energy तो change नहीं हो रही ना. So that will be K1 upon K2, that is half M1 V naught square divided by half M2 V naught square. Velocity तो same होगी, right? This will be get cancelled. So half and a half will be get cancelled. So that is M1 by M2. What was the value of M1? 2. What was the value of M2? 4. 2 by 4, that is half. So K1 by K2. Ke or K, whatever you call it. So kinetic energy 1 divided by kinetic energy of 2 will be 1 by 2. That's the ratio, right? So 1 is to 2. That is option D. All right. Option D. Fine. When a long spring is stretched by 2 centimeters, its potential energy is U. If the spring is stretched by 10 centimeters, what will be its potential energy store? See, if K be the spring constant, okay, what they are saying over here, spring is stretched by 2 centimeters. So in first case, half K into 2 square, okay, that is 2K. What will be the final one? 10K, correct? So you have to just divide these both equations, okay? In first case, it is half K2 square. In second case, they are saying that if it is stretched by 10 centimeters, then how much will it be? So that is half K into 10 square, that is 50K. Now what you have to do is U upon U final, that is 2K upon 50K is 1 by 25. Okay, 1 by 25. So U final will be 25 times of U. I hope everything is clear from this. Okay, chalo. If the kinetic energy of the particles is increased by 300%, the momentum of the particle is increased by how much? See, new kinetic energy is, see, new kinetic energy will be 300 times, that is 3E, right? That is 4E. Fine. Increased by 300 times. What is momentum? Under 2ME. Okay. Then what will be P dash? That will be 2ME dash, correct? So what is be P dash upon P? That will be 2M into 4E divided by 2M into E. 2ME cancel. बचा मेरा under root of 4, that is 2. Okay. So P dash upon P minus 1 is equals to 2 minus 1. Just subtracting on both the sides. So P dash minus P upon P is equals to, okay, into 100. Okay. What I'm doing over here, I hope everything is clear until here. Okay, wait just a second. Yeah. So kinetic energy increased by 300%, right? So that's why 3E. So my old momentum is P, new momentum is E dash. What is the value of E dash? 4E. That's what I've replaced over here. So what I'm getting, P dash by P, I'm getting it as 2. Let me subtract 1 on both sides. So I'll get P dash minus P upon P, okay, is equals to 2 minus 1. That is 1. Let me multiply 100 on both sides to find the change. That is 100%. So the change is 100%. Okay. What will be the moment of particle increased? Momentum of particle will be increased. This one only, right? New minus old divided by new. How much percentage change into 100 is equals to my E dash into 100. E dash minus E, right? Into 100. This should be the thing, right? Basically, they have told me to find this quantity. All right. Fine. Now there's a simple pendulum question. Let's go. In a simple pendulum of length L, the bob is pulled aside from its equilibrium position through an angle theta and then released. So basically, what is the equilibrium position of a bob? This. Now they are saying me that it is released at an angle theta over here, theta, and then it is released over here. The bob passes through the equilibrium position with what speed? This is a formula actually. So this is L cos theta. If this is theta, okay, and this is a bit of h, right? They'll remove it with a height h. Let's say that this is length L, correct? So this will be L cos theta. Now this is simple geometry. What you have to find over here? Mark this as A, mark this as B, mark this as some P or something. So what will be height h? What will be height h? Height h will be AB minus AC. AB minus AC, that is this. So AB is 1. AC is 1 cos theta. So 1 into 1 minus cos theta. Okay. 1 into 1 minus cos theta. Fine. All right. You can find the momentum until here, kinetic energy from here at this point. Okay. Now, moving to the next question. This question had come. This is a very old question. It came in 1999. Okay. Two bodies with kinetic energies in the ratio 4:1 are moving with equal linear momentum. Okay. So I have two bodies with kinetic energies 4:1 and they have momentum as same. Then the ratio of their masses. Simple. So half two different bodies, right? So m1 v1 square divided by half m2 v2 square. They are saying that it is 4:1. Fine. Fine. So basically they are saying m1 v1 whole square divided by m2 v2 whole square into m2 by m1 is 4:1. Correct? So using this, I'll say that this is P1, right? So P1 square divided by P2 square into M2 by M1 is equals to 4:1. I hope this given that P1 and P2 is same. Okay. Then you can further manipulate this. You can cancel this basically. So you'll get 4 into P2 square divided by 1 into P1 square. That is 4 into 1. So M1 by M2 will be 1 by 4. Okay. That is 1:4. Option D. All right. Again, I'm explaining what I have done over here. They have told me that kinetic energy ratio is 4:1. So K1 by K2 is 4:1. Okay. Half got cancelled. So M1 V1 square, M2 V2 square, 4:1. Linear momentum are same. So linear momentum is this. Okay. P1 by P2. And P1 by P2 is equal. So I'm equating only masses. So masses are in the ratio half M1 by M2, which is 1 by 4. All right. Fine. Chalo. Good. Just a second. Okay. Now, a rubber ball is dropped from a height of 5 meters on a plane. Okay, on a plane where the acceleration due to gravity is not shown. I'm sorry. Now, this is a plane surface. They're saying that from a distance of 5 meters, this is a ball. Okay, a rubber ball. Okay, it is dropped. It bounces, it comes to ground, and it again goes up with a length of 1.8 meters. Then what is the laws in velocity? So laws in potential energy is equals to gain in kinetic energy. Correct? That is mgs equals to half mv square. So v is equals to under root 2gh. Everything is clear until here. So h1 and h2 are initial and final heights, let's say. So v1 will be 2gh1 and v2 will be 2gh2. Correct? So delta v is v1 minus v2, that is under root 2gh1 minus under root of 2gh2. Okay. Now what is the fractional loss? अब आपने errors में पढ़ा है, error वाले चैप्टर में, how do you calculate fractional loss? That is delta V. So delta V is V1 minus V2 upon V1. That is 1 minus under root of H2 or H2 upon H1. Fractional loss, right? Fractional loss क्या होता है? Delta X upon X, right? Which is X1 minus X2 upon X1. This is called as fractional loss. Okay, it's called as fractional loss. Fine. 1 minus under root of 1.8 divided by 5, which is 1 minus under root of 0.36. Okay, this can be calculated. Okay, and this answer comes to be as 2 by 5. So one thing you have to understand is everything is clear until here, that if you go up, kinetic energy decreases, potential energy उतनी ही बढ़ेगी. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि जितना ये घटेगा, the amount this is reducing, the same amount it is increasing. Similarly, potential energy is decreasing downside, kinetic energy is increasing. How much this is decreasing, that much this is increasing. So the loss in potential energy, that is mgh, is equals to gain in kinetic energy, that is half mv square. This is what we have written over here. Okay, this is what we have written over here. And from here, this here we have stated our assumption. Okay, I hope everything is clear. Moving to question number 17. This question had come in JEE 1997. Two bodies of mass m and 4m are moving in equal kinetic energy. Then the ratio of the linear momentum. Okay, momenta. Momenta is basically two bodies or more, two or more than two bodies. You know, if momentum has to be told in together, that is called as momenta. So they have said that m and 4m are moving with equal kinetic energy. Then the ratio of their momenta. So M1 is, so basically M1 is M, M2 is 4M. They are saying me that kinetic energy 1 equal to kinetic energy 2. What is kinetic energy formula? Half M1 V1 square for first one, half M2 V2 square for second one. So half M V1 square is equals to half M 4M. 4M, right? Because second mass is 4M into V2 square. Correct? Half cancel, M cancel. From this, I can say that V1 by V2, okay, V1 square by V2 square is equals to 4 by 1. So V1 by V2 is equals to 2. This says that V1 is 2 times of V2. I hope this is clear. What is linear momentum? MV. So L1 upon L2 is equals to M1 V1 upon M2 V2. What was M1? M. What is V1? V. Okay, just V. What is M2? That is 4M. What is V2? That is 2V. This is 1 by 2. All right. I hope this is clear. Okay. Okay. Now this question has come in 2 years. That is 1994 and 1996. Fine. So pay attention. The kinetic energy acquired by a mass m in traveling distance s starting from rest under the action of a constant force directly proportional to. Very complex. Just understand that kinetic energy, okay? Kinetic energy, they have told basically that V square will be U square plus 2AS, okay? Why? Because kinetic energy by traveling a distance s starting from rest under the action of a constant force. See, they are saying me that you have a constant force, okay? Constant force, fine. We have constant force F, fine. Now, I'm starting from a distance with velocity V, 0, and I'm moving, fine. So for half m, V square is required, right? Half mv square. At the end, they are telling me to calculate half mv square, V final square. V final square, they are saying that I have to start from this point 0 with 0 velocity. At the end, I'm moving with at a distance s. Here I have to calculate the velocity and the kinetic energy at this point. So what is V final? V final will come from equation of motion. That is V square is equals to U square plus 2AS. What was U? 0 plus 2a into d, that is 2ad. So v square, that is, what is acceleration, guys? Come on, what is acceleration? Acceleration is force by mass. That is 2 into f by m into d, right? This is v square. So kinetic energy will be half into m into v square, that is 2 into f by m. m से m गया है ना, करेक्ट? 2 से 2 गया, करेक्ट? सो दिस इज f into d. यहाँ पे d भी आएगा ना, d. So f into d. So f into d, what is f into d? Force will be constant, d will be constant. So this is independent of mass, m की power 0. So if I'm traveling with some velocity, kinetic energy acquired by a mass is independent of the mass. Okay, this is the proof which is given over here. Understand why I used the equation of motion. I'm just starting from a point 0 and I'm moving at a distance d. Here I have been told to calculate the final velocity vf. That's what I have been calculating over here. Okay, next. If the momentum of the body is increased by 50%, then the percentage increase in its kinetic energy. Okay, this is 1995 question. If the momentum of a body is increased by 50%, then the percentage increase in its kinetic energy. Now, this is a similar question where we actually had that a kinetic energy of a particle is increased by 300%, right? I think 5 to 6 questions earlier we had done this. So initial momentum is P1, that is P. Next is 1.5. So kinetic energy is K. Now, P square by 2m is directly proportional to P square, right? That is kinetic energy. Fine. This is what they have told over here in this step. Okay, that whatever the change will happen, that will be directly proportional to the kinetic energy. So K1 upon K2 is equals to P1 upon P2 ka whole square. All right. So you have initial P1, that is P. It is increased by how much? 50%. That is 1.5 P, right? And then you just need to equate it over here. P1 upon P1 whole square. That is K2. Okay. 2.25k minus k, that is 1.25k. 1.25k कितना होता है? Just multiply it by 100. That is 125%. Okay. Now, next question. Consider a car moving along a straight horizontal road with a speed of 72 kilometers per hour. If the coefficient of static friction between the road and the tires is 0.5, the shortest distance in which the car can be stopped. Good question. Just look at this. Force due to friction is mu mgs. That will be equal to kinetic energy. Why will be it equal to kinetic energy? Because work done by all the forces in a process is equals to change in kinetic energy. That's why. So we just have friction force over here. Just see over here what force can be mentioned over here. Straight line में चल रही है with 72 km per hour. No force over here. If the coefficient of static friction, now static friction is there, so work done by friction force will be coming over here. Between the road and the tire is 0.5. Shortest distance is asking. So one force that has been mentioned over here is just friction force. Okay, friction force, and that too Fs, static friction. So mu mg s is equals to half mv square. V, you know, s is v square by 2 mu g. You will be calculating this. Okay, if the body of mass m is, then half mass into acceleration is equals to mu into r. Acceleration is mu g. Using v square equals to u square minus 2as, you will be doing this. Why minus 2as? Because speed is reducing. Okay, fine. I hope this is clear. This is easy question, right? It's easy question. Fine. Understand that in this entire process, only one static friction was applied over here, right? Fine. Moving further. A uniform force of this, okay, it is acting on 2 kg. If the particle is displaced from this vector to the position vector this, then work done by the force. If you are aware of vectors, then this is very easy question. Okay, so what they are telling me that a particle is moved from r1 vector to r2 vector. तो तुम क्या करो? तुम r वेक्टर निकालो which is r2 vector minus r1 vector. This is what you have to find. Once you have got r vector, you have to find the force, work done by force. So work done is equals to f vector dot r vector, right? I, if you know the standard formula, work is equals to f dot s. It's just the dot product, right? So you just need to do dot product of these two vectors, that is 3i plus j into this, that is 6 plus 3, that is 9 joules. Work done is nothing but the dot product of force vector and displacement vector. That should be remembered, right? So they have just given us two vectors. Displacement निकाल, यहाँ जितना भी तुम्हारा distance है, that is r1, r2, right? So you just need to subtract them, and you have got r value as 2i plus 3j minus 2k, and force is given to you. So you just need to dot product these two. All right. I hope this is clear. Fine. Two masses of 1 gram and 9 gram are moving with equal kinetic energies. The ratio of the magnitudes of the respective linear momenta. 1993 question. So you have to just equate both the kinetic energies, ke1 equal to ke2. Okay. Why? 1 gram, 9 gram are moving with equal kinetic energies, right? So what will you do is kinetic energy of 1 is equals to kinetic energy of 2. So half m v1 square is equals to half m v2 square. So v1 by v2 is 3. Linear momenta, you can find it out. It is 1 by 3. Okay. Is this clear? I hope it's clear. Okay. Chalo. Again, the very same question. It had come in 89. Same question. It's just that 4 kg and 1 kg is kept over here. E is equals to half mb square. So mb is directly proportional to this. So it will be 2:1. Same question, guys. Same question. See, these both the questions, 93 question and 89 question, both are same. Again, same question. Masses m and 4m are moving with equal kinetic ratio of their linear momenta. Again, guys, see, 1988. So 1988, 89, and 90. This was, okay. See, you have 89 and you have 93 basically, okay? 93. These 3 years questions are same. Pattern is same. So we can understand that the question is, and see, the solution is over here in a different manner. If you want, you can just equate it in the very old manner what I have told you. Okay, that will also work. Fine. That just equate the first what you equate. First you equate the kinetic energies Ke and Ke, and then you can equate the other things. All right, Ke1 and Ke2. All right. So I hope this question is clear. Fine. Because these 3 questions are already same. If you can take a pause and just mention these questions, everything is same. First it was 1 gram and 9 gram. Then it was 4 kg and 1 kg. And then this is m and 4m. That's all. Solutions are same. Okay. Let's move to the next question. All right. Now let's move to the next question. A body of mass 1 kg begins to move under an action of a time dependent force. Okay, time dependent force. F is equals to this. It's given in some vector format where I and j are unit vectors along x and y direction. What will be the power? So F vector is 2ti plus 3t square. Let me write it a bit neatly, guys. Really very sorry. So F vector is 2ti plus 3t square j. Okay. So Newton's second law of motion. Okay, we have applied Newton's second law of motion, that is m into dv by dt is equals to this, right? So integral of 0 to v dv is equals to integral of 0 to t 2ti plus 3t square j into dt. This is what we have understood. एट द एंड व्हाट इज पावर? पावर का फॉर्मूला क्या होगा? पावर का फॉर्मूला होता है एफ डॉट वी वेक्टर. So you just need to calculate this f dot v vector at the end. All right, f dot v vector at the end. Okay, fine. You can just have a look at the solution. Fine. And power is measured in watts. W. Fine. Okay. 26th question. A particle of mass m is driven by a machine that delivers a constant power of k watts. If the particle starts from rest, the force on the particle at that time. So P is equals to dW by dt. We know this thing. And W is PT. Okay. So hence V will be under root of 2pt divided by m. Acceleration is change in velocity, right? So this is the formula. And you just need to find the formula of mass, force, that is mass into acceleration, m into this weight. All right. Okay. Now next question. The heart of a man pumps 5 liters of blood through the arteries per minute at a pressure of 150 mm of mercury. If the density of mercury be this and G is this, then the power of the heart. What is the power of the heart? See, work is equals to P into delta V. So pressure is equals to rho GH. You have studied in fluid mechanics, correct? So H is equals to 150 mm minus 0.15 m. G is given to you, rho is given to you. You need to find power, that is power is equals to W upon T, which is P delta V divided by T. This formula, you are aware of this formula. Okay. You calculate the power. Power is coming to be as 1.7 watt, right? Which means that F dot V vector is equals to P A into V vector. This is what given over here. Power is F dot V, right? So P is A into V dash, V vector. Fine. So what is power? Rho GH, and that you have calculated over here, correct? What they have mentioned over here, you have calculated it upside over here. Power is equals to force upon area, and power is equals to rho GH. So that is what I'm just equating. Rho GH is equals to F upon A. And at the end, you're just calculating power, which is 1.7 watts. All right. Fine. See, you can just do it either of the way. This is one way, and this is another way. Okay. Do it either of the way, you'll get the answer. Okay. Next question. A coolie takes 1 minute to raise a suitcase through a height of 2 meters, but the second coolie takes 30 seconds to raise the same suitcase at same height. What is the power of the two coolies? Okay, so this had come in neat. So power is equals to W upon T. P1 upon P2 is equals to T2 upon T1, right? See, if power is equals to work upon time, then my power is inversely proportional to T, correct? Which means that P1 upon P2 will be equal to T2 upon T1. This is what given over here. Okay, so 30 seconds divided by 1 minute. Okay, क्योंकि पहला वाला 1 मिनट ले रहा है, that is 60 seconds, and second one is taking 30 seconds, 1 upon 2. That's it. So P1 upon P2 is equals to 1 upon 2. All right, fine. See, you can make a sense also without applying a formula. अगर एक कुली 1 मिनट ले रहा है, okay, height is not mattering over here, right? And the second coolie is taking it in 30 seconds. If I'm taking something in 1 minute and someone is taking it in 30 seconds, that actually tells somehow the other way that yes, the power of the other person is twice than mine. Correct? I hope this is clear. Fine. All right. A car of mass m starts from rest and accelerates so that the instantaneous power delivered to the car has constant magnitude P naught. The instantaneous velocity of a car is proportional to what? 2012 question. This is the solution, guys. Just go through the solution. Okay. Now, next question. A body projected vertically from the earth. Okay. It is vertically projected from the earth. I'm throwing it upside. Reaches a height equal to the earth's radius. Okay. Earth's radius before returning to the earth. The power exerted by the gravitational force is greatest at what? So power is P is equals to force into this velocity. When the body is just about the earth's surface, its velocity is greatest, correct? At this intensity, the gravitational force is also maximum. Hence, the power exerted by the gravitational force is greater than an instant just before this. What this explanation is basically trying to tell you that is just understand one thing. If this is my surface of the earth, okay, and if I am releasing a ball from here, just understand one thing. If my ball is moving up, its velocity is getting reduced, correct? It will get reduced and at one point it will become zero. Where was the maximum velocity of the ball? At the point of release, right? So exactly at this point, I can say that the gravitational pull also was very much more, right? Because as much as it was pulling stronger, it was getting slower, right? So the pull as well as the release velocity was most at the point of release. That is what this explanation is trying to tell you over here. All right. Okay. So I hope this is clear until here, right? So we have just completed 30 questions, right? Moving further, we have still many questions and we will be doing that till in next class. Until here, I just want you all to revise some of the few concepts, okay? Like first is work energy theorem, WET. Then is linear momentum, and conservation of linear momentum. Okay. Third is power. Okay. Power. Fine. These three questions are the questions which we have dealt today. Okay. And I want you all to discuss this if you have any doubts. Okay. Moving further, we'll go from the question number 31. This was a question which had come in 2010. All right. Fine. Okay. So I want you all to just revise these questions. And most importantly, if you are aware of work energy theorem, linear momentum and conservation and power, until here, the things should be pretty much clear. Okay. Practice all the variety of questions and we'll be meeting in the next class. Okay. Thank you.